Okay, the Honorable Member for Nairobi County, Honorable Esther Passaris, can make your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding a deeply disturbing video clip that has been circulating on social media since yesterday, alleging a confession to rape by Pastor James Ng'ang'a. Honorable Speaker, the clip allegedly shows Pastor Ng'ang'a, a Kenyan televangelist and founder of Neno Evangelism Center located at the intersection of Haile Selassie Avenue and Uhuru Highway, confessing that he and 8 others raped a woman. In this era of artificial intelligence and digital manipulation, it is often difficult to determine whether such content is authentic or fabricated. Nonetheless, a video of this nature demands immediate and serious investigation. If genuine, the clip represents not a sermon but a criminal confession that requires urgent action by law enforcement agencies. If fake, it exposes the dangerous misuse of technology to spread falsehood, discredit faith, and re-traumatize survivors of sexual violence. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee of Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, clarification on measures being taken by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation to authenticate and investigate the circulating video using digital forensic expertise to update the public on the outcome to restore confidence in both faith and justice. 2, an explanation on the mechanisms in place to identify, locate, and protect survivors of sexual violence whose trauma may be aggravated by the circulation of such sensitive media content online. 3, information on the plans by government to regulate, monitor, and curb the misuse of artificial intelligence and other digital technologies that generate or manipulate contents amounting to criminal misinformation or obstruction of justice so as to prevent technological abuse that undermine morality, public trust, and national cohesion. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Passaris. Is the Chairperson for Internal Security here? Administration? Yes, Honorable Russell.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker will be able to respond immediately after the recess. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we move to our next order of business, which is pursuant to Standing Order 42A-6B, where the Cabinet Secretary for Education is here to respond to questions this Wednesday afternoon. So Honorable Owen Bayer, Deputy Majority Leader, kindly escort the Cabinet Secretary in. Thank you, Honorable Cabinet Secretary for Education. You're welcome to the National Assembly. And before we begin with the first question, I'd like to bring to the attention of members the following. It's Standing Order number 42B, subclause 4, or 5. It goes on to say, just for avoidance of doubt, when a member scheduled to raise a question in the House is absent without the Speaker's permission, the question shall be dropped and no further proceedings shall be allowed on the question during the same session. And 5A, a member scheduled to ask the question in the House may request the Speaker to defer a question to another time or day. B, withdraw the question where it has been overtaken by events. Or C, at least 2 hours before the sitting, nominate another member to ask the question on his or her absence by notifying the Speaker in writing. In that case, the Speaker may defer the question to a different time, day from its scheduled date, time and day. A question may include a question for the report from a Cabinet Secretary concerning matters under the control of the Cabinet Secretary. So, honorable members, we have a question by Honorable Omboko Milema, question 11 of 2025, question 13 of 2025, and he's not present in the House. We also have a question by the member for Isiolo County, Honorable Mumina Bonyaya, who I know, as I checked a minute ago, she hadn't come into the House, so that is also dropped. We also have another question, number 70 of 2025, by the member for Keio South, Honorable Gideon Kimayo, who is also absent. We also have another question, number 71 of 2025, by the member for Matayo, Honorable Geoffrey Ondaga, who is also not present. That is also subsequently dropped. So the one that is going to proceed now is the one by the member for Baringo Central, Honorable Joshua Kandie. And I will now give Honorable Joshua Kandie the opportunity to proceed. What is your point of order, Honorable Kangogo? I will come to you, Honorable Member for Funyula. Yes, Honorable Kandie? Not Kandie, sorry, Honorable Kangogo. You had a point of order?
Yes. Madam Speaker, I know the question by the Honorable Mboko Milemba and even the Honorable Member for Isholo Women Rep. They are very important questions, Madam Speaker. I remember, Madam Speaker, when the Honorable Mboko Milemba brought up that issue, it was a very emotive issue in the House, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, when a member asks a question in the floor of the House, which has been approved by yourself or the substantive Speaker, Madam Speaker, I think that question, though the members raised the question, should be treated as a property of the House, because if you read those two questions, Madam Speaker...
Honorable Kangogo, Honorable Kangogo, I'll stop you right there. I just went to great pains to read Standing Order 42 with, verbatim. It is clear. Unless you want to stand on the floor of the House and amend the standing order, which you cannot, then that is a non-issue. No one is underestimating the importance of the question. All we are saying is the member who is responsible for the question, as set out in the standing orders, should be in the House for that question to be entertained and for that question to be responded to by the Cabinet Secretary when they are present. So I think that can be a suggestion to the procedure and House rules. Honorable Kangogo, we shall now proceed because we already have Honorable Kandie, who is here and who has been on time. So we shall go to his question. If those members want to come and approach the Speaker for indulgence, then it is for them to do so, because I don't think they've hired you to hold their brief. Honorable members, I will allow Honorable Kandiye to start. We already have the Cabinet Secretary here. Let that question be asked. If those members have written a letter to the Speaker, I left my office at exactly 2:30, so if it can be brought to me here at my desk, and then I can be able to rule otherwise. What's your point of order, Honorable Oundo? And let that be the last one.
Speaker, we appreciate your ruling and we do respect because a Speaker's ruling cannot be challenged.
It's not my ruling, it is the reading of the standing orders.
I accept.
Yes.
Honorable Speaker, there are some matters that are of public interest that transcend individual member because these particular questions, Honorable Speaker, are not domiciled in any particular constituency. They cannot be taken to be as if they are personal questions that affect that particular constituency. We just want to seek your indulgence. Understanding order number 1, using our express discretion to allow members to deal with these questions, which are of extreme public importance. It might not be necessary now, but they're continuing. We're just seeking your indulgence. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
I also ruled on that. I said, if those members because you're speaking on their behalf, contrary to the standing orders. If those members, I know that they will reach out shortly. There probably is a letter in the Speaker's office. It will make its way here. By that time, we'll have dealt with the 2 questions. If that request comes, I'm willing to consider it. But for now, let's proceed as per the standing orders, and let's allow Honorable Kandiye to go on with this. Let the others send their documentation. Like I know Honorable Kimayo has just has already sent a note. Yes, what's your point of order, Honorable Martha?
Thank you. Madam Speaker, we appreciate the ruling. And Madam Speaker, I'm sorry because I was trying to reach Honorable Mboko. He had reached out to me. I just wasn't aware he had not written to the office of the Speaker. Maybe the communication has already come. And before Honorable Mboko did, I had raised the issue before. So it was actually in the proceedings of the House. So I hope that it can reach your office in the meantime, because the matter of capitation is quite thorny and it is urgent and of national importance, Madam Speaker.
Yes, and that's why it's important. It's of great national importance. It's also important for the members to just follow the standing orders, because again, if we don't follow the standing orders, then we'll be accused of having disobeyed the rules of the House. But we still have time. For efficiency, let us allow the members who are present to start answering their question, give the minister an opportunity to answer, and as we go along, if those members reach out, and I'm sure many of you have also reached out to them, and communication comes to me, I can receive it even here, and then we'll be able to proceed. Honorable Kandiye, let us proceed.
Madam Speaker, I rise to ask question 072 of 2025, and this one goes to the Cabinet Secretary for Education. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide a comprehensive list of Kenyan medical training colleges, KMTC, established across the country, indicating the status of distribution of students placed in these colleges through the Kenya Universities and College Central Placement Service? 2, explain why some students who apply through COOPS, despite meeting the requisite qualifications, have not secured placement in any of the training colleges, and outline the measures put in place to accommodate such students who wish to pursue their studies under KMTC. 3, could the Cabinet Secretary clarify whether Kenya medical training colleges are authorized to admit students independently, and if so, state the safeguards or procedures instituted to guarantee fairness and transparency in the admission process? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think we'll give the opportunity to the Cabinet Secretary. You may proceed to answer that particular question. And in your interest, honorable members, I've received a communication from Honorable Mboko that he had actually nominated Honorable Martha Wangare, member for Gilgil. So after this, I'll give you an opportunity to ask the question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, honorable members, for the opportunity to respond to these questions. Madam Speaker, since the year 2023-2024 placement cycle, COOPS has placed a total of 90,181 students to pre-service training programs in the 95 KMTC campuses across the country. The summary of the placement for the last 3 cycles is as below. Cycle number 1, under diploma, there were 27 programs. In the year 2023-2024, they placed 7,842 students. In the year 2024-2025, they placed 20,714,000 students. And 2025-2026, they placed 21,682 students, making a total of 50,238. And for the certificates, there were 9 programs. In the cycle 2023-2024, they placed 7,308 students. The cycle 2024-2025, they placed 15,664 students. And the cycle 2025-2026, they placed 16,971 students, making a total of 39,943. The total programs are 36. The total number for 2023-2024 was 15,150. Cycle 2024-2025 was 36,378. And cycle 2025-2026, it was 38,653, making a grand total of 90,181. In our written statement, we've done an annexure as Annex number 1, which has a total list of the KMTC campuses that we have in the country. There is a total of 95,000, and the distribution of how these students have been placed in all those campuses is indicated and confirms the total as 90,181. Madam Speaker, the placement criteria for KMTC programs is set by the respective regulators as per the program. KMTC and COOPS jointly set additional criteria based on several parameters to ensure fairness and equitable access to applicants who meet the minimum entry requirements to the capacities that are available. Madam Speaker, the criteria takes into consideration the distribution of capacities to ensure that placement reflects the face of Kenya, the poverty index, affirmative action for persons with disabilities, and distribution to counties, sub-counties, and constituencies. Madam Speaker, owing to the fact that COOPS cannot place more students into a given program beyond the capacity declared by KMTC, it is inevitable that some applicants who meet the minimum requirements may not secure placement. However, whenever additional capacities are declared by KMTC, either through replacements or approval of new programs in more campuses, COOPS places the initially unsuccessful applicants directly from the database into these institutions. Madam Speaker, it should be noted by honorable members that there are some KMTC programs that are more popular than others. These popular programs tend to attract more applicants and get filled to capacity. For the less popular programs that do not fill up, COOPS and KMTC undertake joint grassroots engagements to popularize these programs. The application portal is also kept open to allow placements on a rolling basis, thereby attracting more applicants. Madam Speaker, on the third limb of that question, currently, COOPS is the entity that is mandated to place pre-service students to KMTC campuses. However, KMTC admits students to in-service programs and short courses. These in-service programs include upgrading programs and higher diploma programs designed for individuals already in the healthcare workforce who wish to enhance their qualifications. I respectfully submit.
Honorable Member for Baringo, Honorable Kandiye, maybe you can,
Thank you,
before I
Madam
give two joyriders, Honorable Tandaza and Honorable Kangogo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Passaris,
I think I am satisfied with the answer given by the Minister. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Tandaza.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. One, the CS has read a very comprehensive reply, but we don't have a copy. So we wonder how we'll be able to interrogate the figures that he was just reading without supplying us with a copy. It talks of an annexure which we don't have. But despite that, my question
I
is...
think that's
which
normally given to table office and will be tabled here.
Yeah,
So
but
you
it would have been
access to
better if it was tabled as we discussed this question. Otherwise, then it will have been taken by Vince. But anyway, my concern is the CS. When it comes to those popular causes, and I want to be specific, the nursing course, it is on record that these admissions are only given to a particular region. Somebody who qualifies for a nursing course from Matuga, even if he has a B+ and above, unless you go to the director or whoever and personally talk to him, sometimes we talk and even sometimes see how you can get, they are normally not admitted. And I was expecting this answer now, this reply, to actually give us that breakdown, including where those who are admitted in that particular course come from, because that is my bone of contention. There are some areas where they are given health records, which you know they are not marketable, very much marketable, and some other courses, I don't know, mifupa, we call it physiotherapist, but when it comes to community health, it goes to a specific region. Could you please give us that breakdown? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Kangogo.
Thank you,
Remember,
Madam
it's a
Speaker.
joyrider question, so you keep it brief and specific.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Clarification.
And I want to appreciate the answers by the CS. And I have only two questions. One, Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Education continues to admit students to KMTC, despite the fact that the KMTC Act has not been repealed on admissions. What is the ministry doing to make sure that they align the law, to make sure that they align the law and have the ministry have that mandate of admission? Number two, Honorable Speaker, is that the Ministry of Education admits the students, but the KMTC students, they don't benefit in terms of help loans like those other students under the Ministry of Education. What is the ministry doing to make sure that all the students, because it looks like the KMTC is in Ministry of Health. It is under the Ministry of Health. But now here we have the CS for Education answering questions related to health. What is he doing together with the CS of Health so that to make sure that it's aligned? Thank you.
I think the point is clear. The Honorable Member for Nairobi County, Honorable Passaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Because we don't have the figures in front of us, it's difficult to articulate them or bring them up into the question. But my question is, how many students have applied and not been accommodated? I think that figure didn't come out very clearly, because if is our capacity lower than the students that want to be in nursing? And then in the olden days, we used to have affiliations with universities abroad, like University of London, Delhi and FIGS, with institutions in Kenya. And I met a nursing student in Australia, and she said that when she went to Australia to work, she had to repeat the entire nursing course. So I was just wondering, is the government having any plan to affiliate and align with international standards in terms of the courses that we offer, so that when our students want to go, or our graduates want to go to work in London, or want to go and work in America, or want to go and work in Australia, they actually do not have to repeat the entire nursing course because they have been accredited. And I've seen that accreditation going on with, for instance, civil aviation, and I know it's possible. So what are the plans for the ministry to align with international standards and
proceed,
causes
yeah.
so that our students can have a broader ocean to
Thank
seek
you.
jobs.
In the
Thank
interest
you.
of time, let's just make sure we don't make statements. We stick to the question so it will move faster. The Honorable Member for Funyula, had you put your hand up? You're good. All right. Honorable, no, let's give 3 first. Those were the joyrider questions. Let the Minister answer those ones first.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Our next chair is available and we can avail it so that the members have access to it. To Honorable Tandaza's question on the question of admitting students to popular courses from particular areas, unless we get that particular data or that information, which we do not have right now because the question did not extend to that particular issue, we are quite prepared to supply the data of all the students admitted in those 3 cycles that I've indicated, the total of 90,181, with indication to what regions they come from for purposes of proper consumption. I didn't carry that information, but the information is available and it can be supplied to ensure that then it can be interrogated at that point. Madam Speaker, on the issue of COOPs having the responsibility of undertaking the admissions for KMTC, this is an arrangement that arose from a request by KMTC for COOPs, which is the national institution that does admissions of all our students, to have our students in the KMTC colleges admitted by COOPs for purposes of rationality and rationalization. So that is an arrangement that was made between KMTC and COOPs at the request of KMTC for that particular process to be done. And to the benefit of members and Honorable Kangogo's question, the KMTC students are also allowed to apply to help and get loans. And this is an arrangement that is done with the Ministry of Health. And the Ministry of Health does release certain amounts of money to help for that particular fund to be managed and run by help for purposes of supporting the KMTC students. So they are, the KMTC students have the capacity to apply for help, and help is available. Those loans are available to them, and currently they are eligible to access the loan from help, depending on how much money has come from the Ministry of Health for purposes of KMTC students. Madam Speaker, the capacity is declared by our institution.
Cabinet Secretary, you're confirming
Yes.
that Kenya Medical Training College students are eligible for the Higher Education Fund and the Higher Education Loans Board Fund?
No, the loans fund, yes.
Just the
entitled-
loans?
Yes, just the loans, yes.
Just the loans,
Entitled
not
from
the
help.
scholarship
Yes, from
aspect?
help, yes.
Yes, because that's a knowledge
That's
that's actually not within
Yes.
the...
I think we'd been here before and we gave that response as well with the people of KMTC. But it's an arrangement where resources come from the Ministry of Health for management by help for that particular sector of our students. Madam Speaker, to the question of how many students have applied and were not admitted, in the nursing course, under the diploma, our institutions declared 2,700 spaces and 300 spaces for certificates. But the applicants for the nursing course was 25,000 in the last cycle. So you can see the application to that course is far much higher than the available capacity that is declared by our institutions. So when you subtract 25,000 from the 2,700, 300, you've realized that almost 22,000 are not admitted to that course. In terms of question by Honorable Passaris on accreditation and alignment of our course curriculum to the international standards, that process is now being undertaken by KNQA so that we can be able to train our nurses for international and global market so that when they travel or they get jobs outside, they do not have to undergo completely a fresh retraining. So that alignment and structure and collaboration is being undertaken by KNQA with various countries so that we can align our curriculum so that they are recognized when they travel to those other institutions. So it is something that is already being done. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Nikal. Give Honorable Nikal the mic.
Honorable Speaker, what the minister is saying is not true. KMTC did not request COOPS to admit for it. It is the other way around. It's COOPS that actually wanted, they didn't even go to KMTC. Through the Ministry of Education and Higher, they actually insisted that they do the admission. And the first admission that was done was actually challenged in court and was ruled that admission was actually illegal and reversed. And I know we had a meeting, and the minister knows, and even the current admission that is going on is actually illegal. There was an advisory from the Attorney General that so long as the law exists, they should not admit, COOPS should not admit. And the fact is, and I don't know whether the minister is aware, that a batch of 2-3 students that are actually in KMTC now are actually illegally admitted, and if somebody were to go to court, it can be successfully challenged. So I think this is something that if we want to change it so that COOPS admits, we actually go through the law and change the law, but not do it by administrative fiat. So I would like, if he's really aware that the current admissions are actually not legal.
I think we've had already three questions that the honorable members, we've already had 4 Joyrider questions. Okay, I'll allow Honorable Raso and then I'll come to Honorable Farah.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have listened to the Cabinet Secretary answering this question. And I was a bit surprised because
ask a question, not a statement. Yes. Ask the question.
COOPS fall under the Ministry of Education, but KMTC fall under Ministry of Health. So in terms of funding, even to KMTCs, does it come from education or from the Ministry of Health? If that is the case, that contradiction, what Honorable Nikal there is asking, how would you admit students when you yourself, you are not responsible for funding of those KMTCs? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Farah Mali.
Have the mic? Yeah, Mr. Speaker, whereas we appreciate what the ministry is doing and what COOPS is doing, but it's very clear. It says Kenya universities, university colleges, central placement, COOPS service. This is a diploma course. These are not university courses. KMTC is basically diploma courses. So the law does not cover that. And I think the most important thing is we basically, unless we're able to change the law, we leave it as it is. In any case, KMTC worked as an institution and worked very well. When something is not broken, why try to fix it? So that is that. Unless the law is changed, then of course we will have a lot of litigation in this. And then secondly, he said, the minister said, Honorable, the minister, the CS said that there are 300 spaces for certificate courses. Those are too few for the number of Kenyans who would qualify for certificate courses. And I think the only way to fix this thing, because we are not training only for the domestic market in Kenya, we are training for the international market. Right now, nursing is the most, marketable field where our young graduates can find jobs all over the world, in the developed world. So why don't we then increase, and not only do we do, can we aspire to have a Kenya Medical Training College in every constituency in the country? That way we'll be in a position to take care of that field for international, or what you call labor export. So those are my two questions. One, why didn't you increase the numbers in the meantime, in the interim? Can we have so many more? Don't you have to change the law before we can, we give COPS? COPS does a very good job, there's no question about that. But the law is very clear. And I think we'll have a lot of litigation if you don't fix that now at this stage. Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you one more chance to respond to that, then we can close that question and move to the next one. We'll still have chances to joyride on the other questions coming.
Madam Speaker. It is true that there was a court case that arose out of the question of the placement of KMTC students through COPS, and that was 2019, and the letter that was written came after 2019, after the court case. However, Madam Speaker, I would like to inform the House that COPS has the mandate to do the placement to the colleges under Section 56(1) of the Universities Act that allows COPS to coordinate placement to universities and colleges of all our students in the country. So that mandate is provided for, and it is the basis of COPS exercising that mandate or that power to place students in KMTC. In fact, COPS currently places students to colleges that are domiciled in 18 other ministries. And COPS was given this duty because of ensuring fairness, equity, and ensuring that there is no unfairness or unfair practices in the placement of the students. That is the basis, and that is the current status as we speak. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. We shall now move to... Yes, what's your point of order, Honorable Russell?
My question, Madam Speaker, is COPS falls under the Ministry of Education, but KMTCs fall under the Ministry of Health. If they are not able to fund those KMTCs, because I have a KMTC in my constituency that the Ministry of Education has no business with, then how do they go and admit the students in those colleges? That is what the minister must tell us. And secondly, he's saying that the admission has to reflect the balance or the face of the country. Can he supply us with numbers of nurses who are undergoing nursing courses, yet we know the current distribution? That if I have 20 students from Marsabit and all of them cannot get admission into nursing, and somebody else has 1,000, 2,000, then does that reflect the fairness he's talking about? Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable Russell, I think already the Cabinet Secretary has undertaken that he will supply the details, because he didn't anticipate that question. He has undertaken that he will supply the details, and it shall be supplied through the department, the Committee on Education. And can you give us a timeline, Cabinet Secretary? Together with the courses as asked by the Honorable Tandaza.
We can submit that data in 2 weeks, Madam Speaker.
Okay, so let it be noted that within 2 weeks, the Cabinet Secretary shall apply the data sought by Honorable Russell and Honorable Tandaza, actually. What's your other what clarification do you require, Honorable Nyika?
On this point, I think if we can't run a country if we don't say the truth, the request was not from KMTC. If that letter came, it came later, and that it could have come under duress. Two, why is it that if this is they are running it, why is it that the help that is being given to KMT students is actually funds that we budget from the Committee of Health? If this is the institution that is under them and they're running it, why does it need that we give funds for the KMTC to COPS so that they can get help? There's a contradiction here that all we need to do, change the law. We have the provision to change. And what about the advisory from the Attorney General around the same time of 2019? And if Honorable Waziri will look for facts, then we can actually bring them before Waziri in another committee. Because these are facts that we know were presented before a committee.
Okay, clearly, members, obviously the issue of the legislative challenges and the need to make amendments to the law. And Honorable Nikal, you can actually promote, you can actually sponsor, your committee can sponsor that amendment. You don't even need the clearance of the minister. Or it can come as a private member's bill. Yes, okay. Thank you, and Honorable Cabinet Secretary, I hope you've noted that is also an issue that has come up, that you need to look at the legislation, apart from the documents that you're going to give members. Then, honorable members, I will then now allow the next question so that we don't deal with one question and ignore other questions that had been approved. There is a question of the Honorable Omboka Milama, which has been, he has requested that it be asked by the Honorable Member for Gilgil, Honorable Martha Wangari. And Honorable Martha Wangari, if you could kindly start with question 13 of 2025 first, and then you go back to 11.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, even for the consideration. Allow me, Madam Speaker, to ask question number 13, 2025. Could the Cabinet, on behalf of the member for Emuhaya, Honorable Mboko Milemba, to the Cabinet Secretary. Number one, could the Cabinet Secretary, number one, state plans put in place by the Ministry of Education to ensure that all schools receive capitation to facilitate them during the third term, given that the national examinations are about to commence? Number two, outline the measures being put in place by the Ministry of Education to ensure smooth operations of schools despite the ongoing verification process by sending a minimum of 50% of the capitation expected. Number three, provide the actions being taken by the ministry to uncover the ghost schools that have received funds for both infrastructure capitation and examination purposes. Number four, state the steps being taken to resolve the ongoing university lecturer strike to ensure resumption of learning by the university students. And finally, provide the expected time frame for concluding verification to enable schools to resume normal operations.
CS, please proceed and answer that question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Help me with this, it's falling.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to respond to the 4 questions on verification of schools and disbursement of capitation as follows. Mr. Speaker, the Office of the Auditor General recently reported